So a Michigan man was just arrested for making death threats against CNN, and anchor Don Lemon called out who he thinks shares some of this blame. Take a look.
This is what happens when the President of the United States, Donald Trump, repeatedly attacks members of the press simply for reporting facts he does not like. The caller who threatened to kill CNN employees made his threat using these words, quote, "fake news. I'm coming to gun you all down." Fake news. I wonder where he got those words.
Well, a lot of people are saying, is he right? I mean, because the new guy's tweeted violence against CNN several times before. And so does this help or does it, you know?
Well, he's certainly partly responsible for some of it, but I think it's a slippery slope when you start equating words with actions, because we have the First Amendment. He's entitled to say whatever he wants. And you can't say ipso facto what he says will now lead to violence. I don't believe in that. Otherwise, they would have to silence me or you or you. So that's why I don't put. But partly he is responsible because he stirs the pot and he throws in the gauntlet and he lets people know, hey, he winks, as you said.
Yeah. Right.
He winks.
I totally agree with Joy on that. And also the fact that the president has such a powerful voice. And like Don Lemon said, you have to realize that there are some very dangerous people that are listening to this voice and don't know how to decipher, okay, it's just words or let's turn it into action. And that's where it becomes tricky.
Yeah, well, the level of discourse I think that we are seeing in our country is a direct result of the temperament of this president and the way he speaks. He coined that term, I think, fake news, or at least brought it into our country in the way that it is. And, you know, I think he is to blame for it, actually.
Not 100%. He can't be 100%.
I don't know, because look at Pizzagate, right? You have some people that are talking about the Clintons, I guess, prostituting children in a pizza store, and someone went into that pizza store with and a sex ring with children, and they went into that pizza store with a gun.
Believe it.
They are responsible for that.
That was from the internet, and we have many conversations. One thing we all agree on is that Facebook needs to regulate a lot of things that are happening. But what I want to say is, I remember during Columbine that Marilyn Manson was given a lot of the blame for Dylan and Eric going on their shooting spree because they were a fan of Marilyn Manson, and Marilyn Manson had violent images coming across on his music videos. I actually agree with you, Joy, that we have to be very careful with what we blame in what context. The fight between CNN and Donald Trump is never going to end. Forever, they are adversaries against each other. I have conflicting feelings about the difference between journalists and commentators and how sometimes they continue to talk about the president. And you and I agree on that. There needs to be a harder line between people understanding that. But I'm with Joy on this one. Like, when you start saying you can't say this, you can't say that, censorship.
Well, I don't think anybody's saying, can you believe it? I think what people are saying is, you need to take a look at this, because we did see an uptick in violence against immigrants with him talking about Mexicans. We did see an uptick in violence against quite a few people because of some of his rhetoric. So I think it's important for us to sort of say, listen, words do matter.
Right.
Words do matter. They do have an impact. And like you said, when you're the guy that's supposed to be the leader of the nation, you got to be a little more careful with the stuff you say.
We agree. We agree on that. And when you put those type of very volatile words together with easy access to guns, you have a very combustible situation.
Unstable people.
And unstable people.
Not a good
People are going to use anything to justify violence. I mean, John Hinckley Jr., I think, blamed Jodie Foster, saying he was obsessed with her and he wanted to shoot President Reagan in order to impress, to get a date or to impress her in one way or the other. So I think sometimes crazy people, you just don't need to justify violence.
I think
just let me finish really quick. All of us on TV, CNN, The View, whatever, everyone's a target in one way or another, which is why I agree with you. What we do sometimes is dangerous. And so I think we as commentators and public figures know that what we're saying is going to be controversial. The scary part is, I do agree, violent rhetoric, behavior against everyone seems to be amping up at a level we've never seen before.
I don't think you can compare people like Hinckley and others with the rhetoric that we are getting from the person who is supposed to be the leader of the free world.
But
I don't think that
who
you
will
can
shoot up a
compare
pizza
it.
shop is as crazy as John Hinckley.
It's so irresponsible. It's so irresponsible. We should demand better of the President of the United States.
Yeah, but he's going to be president for at least the foreseeable future, and we can't censor him. So.